One thing I want to make clear, just in case anybody has any bright ideas of trying to off me so they don't have to take responsibility for their actions. That's Big Pharma, doctors, family members, whatever. I am not gonna let somebody come into my house and hurt me. I will not let that happen. So you're gonna get a fight. Number two, for the record, for anybody who might be listening to this, I do not like guns. My religion forbids me from shooting myself. I cannot shoot myself in the head. I can't do that. So there is no possible way. I literally would have to shoot myself right through the heart, what would be impossible, so that I could never off myself with a gun. So if somebody comes to my house and shoots me in the head, don't believe it's a suicide. It's not. Just somebody trying to off me before they get caught. Number two, if I was going to hang myself, it would be in the woods with nature so my body can rot and people don't find me. So if you find me, I would be out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, halfway rotted. And if there's any struggle marks, then that's that somebody tried to kill me. They would have to rip me out of my apartment and bring me in the woods, and I would, oh my God, their throat might get collapsed in the process. I might not be able to walk. I might not be able to move with confidence, but I can shake I can shake an arm at you good enough to collapse your windpipe. I also know many areas you do not want me to whack. I also have a lot of tricks up my sleeve as well. I do not let people hurt me. I have been beaten. I have been burned. I have had knives at me. I have been stabbed. I have been left for dead. I've had doctors malpractice me on purpose. I've had doctors literally destroy my health with medicine by allowing crazy ass nurses to double dose me in the same hour. I've had parents literally overdose me on purpose and then continue to drug me over and over, punish me with Epicac, do awful things. So I've been through it all. So if you think you're going to come in and do something to me, no. There's a couple things I need to do first. I need to make sure that the next generation doesn't have to go through what I went through. And I've already had many of the orphans I grew up with, or people from the Massachusetts system that got taken away from their parents, all from the foster care system, and I've seen how two of them end up. I've heard horror stories from other people too, but I don't know if they're true. But I know two of them that are 100% true. I know one that was physically abused, parents can't speak English, and I know a second one who was drugged at the age of 17 and never recovered from it. But those are less cases. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. If you heard my story from beginning to end, seen on the photographs, if you heard and read the paperwork that comes with my life story, if you track down the doctors I saw, track down the Department of Health, track down St. Anne's, track down Lowell Treatment Centers, track down these records from the Department of Health and Human Services, track down my medical records from before I was 10, track down what they said in Texas, track down what they said in New Mexico, track down what they said in Westford at age 5, 6, 7, 8, then track down 13. If you track that down, you would be in tears, tears when talking to me. I've seen it. I've seen people just get depressed and only getting a glimpse of me. I don't even have to speak. Sometimes my injuries make people sad enough because they really like me. I really do a lot for people, and then when they see me really hurt, and I'm trying to smile and I'm trying to be really nice, I can see that it's very difficult for my friends or people that actually give a fuck about me. But see, the problem is my family doesn't. Oh, they're very easy. They're very good to hurt me. That they sometimes I think some of them get kicks. I know my father doesn't get no kicks off of it, and that's one thing I always liked. My father hates hurting people. He hates it. He like it literally. He hates having to make a decision that he thinks might hurt another person or inconvenience another person. I did always like that, but he will not inconvenience himself or stand up to his wives in a way when it's necessary. And now he's way too old. I mean, now he's just too old. Now all he has to do is take responsibility for his actions. He can't he can't be the 80-year-old, 70-year-old, 60-year-old who needed to speak up when I was a kid. But he can be the guy who takes responsibility for his actions. He can be that guy still. And I'm really hoping he is that guy because I really do believe in him. I believe in my father that one of these days he's really going to just be like, oh shit, what did I do? Because he has enough of his own guilt and his own, he just drinks it away and tries to pretend like it doesn't exist. Or just blames it on others like me or the doctors or a family member or whatever. But no, it's not my fault that Patricia, my mother, crippled me. It's not my fault I had to drink a bottle of Epicac. It's not my fault I had to overdose at age 7. It's not my fault I was shaking. It's not my fault I got a lack of education after already having medical issues. It's not my fault we changed schools all the time. Maybe at 14 I was acting up by bringing combs to school, and then I got suspended because they thought a comb looked like a knife. And then they said, well, it's a comb, but it kind of is a flip comb. Stuff like that. I wanted to have a flip comb. That's kind of cool, right? A flip comb. Like those little switchblade flip combs you get at the arcades. Because at the time, I lived in an orphanage program with other orphans, and every Friday they'd bring us out to an arcade. And I got enough arcade tickets for the flip cone. I like the flip cone. So when I got to go back with my parents, and I got to stay in the house there, that was one of the items that came with me. As well as that wasn't the first flip cone I had. I actually think I got 2 other flip cones from that same place because arcades actually were a really common place for the programs and my parents to bring me. Very common. Don't get me wrong. I was brought lots of places, and my father spent a fortune on me. But some of that fortune was spent to hurt me as well. Don't forget that either. I mean, really, really screw me up. I mean, oh my God, my father would give my mother money for anything, anything. Even if I was crying wearing a tutu, he'd be fine with it. And that's actually a real one. She wanted me in tights, wearing. She wanted to push it to a tutu, but my father, I don't think heard that part. When she, oh my God, she was nuts. And she did get me into ballet wearing tights, even though I was totally belittled for it, and this was not the treatment for what's going on with my body, and my mother knew this. My mother knew what she did to me. She knew I was speaking up at the doctor. She knew now that the doctors were saying I had a coordination issue. They were speaking up about all this different stuff, speech impediments, and I knew that I was bumping into stuff, and I lost it. I was actually very good with my body, and then all of a sudden it's like I lost everything I learned in one night. But anyway, she knew what it was. I just didn't. So she decided ballet. That will throw them off, and then my kid will never figure it out. He'll be so screwed up, nobody will figure it out, and then I'll just figure out another thing to do to him. So, yeah, that's how my life went.